artist on record.
Your ultimate intimate conversation with your favorite artist. In the hot seat, Mr. Andrew Dice Clay.
You know what that is? That's my gold record from the day the laughter died. Given to me by the undisputed heavyweight comedy king, Andrew Dice Clay.
At concerts as a kid, and everybody knows that I really idolized Elvis Presley. I had a few idols. Elvis was the big one to me because it was Elvis. I just understood. I snuck out of my room when I was 12 years old, to see the image that I would later become in my life. I mean, the day after the 68 comeback special, my mother, we were in JCPenney and there was a giant, fake motorcycle jacket. She bought it for me. I went so crazy over it because I didn't know what I was going to become. I just knew I could be that image somehow. So other than that, there was another drummer in school. His name was Hal. I forget his last name. And he comes to me one time because I was in the jazz band of the school. They called it dance band. And he goes, I bought 2 tickets to see Buddy Rich at Carnegie Hall. You're coming with me. And so I go with Hal, and there it was, the greatest ever, with his 16 or 20-piece band. I think it was 16, to see him do the West Side Story theme in Carnegie Hall, and it was just these moments in my life set me up for my whole life because I knew I could never be that. I was always realistic about myself, if I can't play like that, I'm just not going to be in wedding band. I knew that was more for me out there. That's all I'm saying. But it was an incredible concert. And now going full circle and the stand-up coming back, doing, a couple months ago, opening for Guns N' Roses, at the MetLife, which is the old Giant Stadium, in front of 60,000 people. And these people don't know I'm coming out, Stefan. They don't know any of it, and you don't know how they're going to react when they say your name, because I haven't done places like that in years. And I walked out and they went crazy. And it just turned that switch on again to go into these bigger than life places when I became really the first arena comic ever, just ever. It was something in my head that when my mother, because I really didn't care about stand-up comedy. That wasn't what I put together this act in Brooklyn of Jerry Lewis, his nutty professor character, turning into John Travolta from Grease, because back then, me and John Travolta really looked similar, and I could do a dead-on impression of Barbarino or Tony Manero that, I'd be I'd walk around the neighborhood and go, listen to this, you're going to die. I swear you're going to crack up. Mr. Carter says to me, he goes, Vinny, did you do your homework? What? And I would do the whole thing. But when he came out with Grease, after Fever, and I saw that he could sing on top of the dancing, is when the act hit me, turned from Jerry Lewis's nutty professor into John Travolta from Grease. And the only way I was going to be able to do it is if I could actually sing like Travolta, because I wanted to do Grease Lightning. And I went to a music studio in Brooklyn on Kings Highway. And because I used to be in little bands, I knew about recording studios. Okay, so I got in this recording studio and I asked these guys, can you take out the lead vocal from Grease? And these guys were great guys, and they were able to shatter his voice, that all it was backup vocals. And then I started paying for time to rehearse this act. and they'd see me come out of the bathroom in the Jerry Lewis outfit, with my hair combed forward, and I would talk into the mirror like Jerry Lewis with the stupid little glass eye. Actually, I just not to seem didactic or figure. And then I go, all right, lights out. And then I'd slick their hair as they started the intro of music we cut together. And they'd introduce, and I would turn around as Travolta from Grease. And these guys were looking like, what is he doing? Like, what is this even? And 3 weeks later, the only one that really saw me rehearse it, I went into my sister Natalie's room. She was with a girlfriend of hers in the apartment where we lived with my parents. And I said, I want to show you what I've been working on.
Mm.
And her and a girlfriend are sitting there, right? And so I do the act for them, and then my sister came up to the studio, and she also, just like my parents, very encouraging. And 3 weeks later, I go to Pips, I'm online to get a ticket to audition. And the owner, Seth Schultz, he says to me when I'm online, he goes, you look a lot like John Travolta. What's your act like? And I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it, So now when I was getting ready to go, and I told my parents, everybody was there, my parents, my aunt, my uncle, my cousins, my grandmother. So everybody's waiting for me to come out. Now I'm in the kitchen dressed as Jerry Lewis, and it's kind of scary because I bought this giant tuxedo shirt. It was a 12X that would cover, the vinyl leather underneath, and, the Travolta. I had my pants rolled up to my thighs. And when the owner came into the kitchen, he jumped. He got scared. Like, who are you? I go, actually, I'm the one that looks like Travolta. And it's like looking like, oh man, like what a whack job. So he brings me on next, but he knew that I had a music cue. And when I came up as Jerry Lewis at Pips, you got to understand, this is a Brooklyn crowd, holds about 100, maybe 110 seats, with the loudest air conditioner in the world. And the minute I start talking as Jerry, the Nutty Professor, they're booing me. They're hardcore. Get the fuck off. You fucking suck. You fucking asshole. And they're just cursing me out. But I'm staying with it, and I'm going, actually, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a human pity, actually. And in this formula, and I mix my formula together, that's going to turn me into something, right? And the lights go out, and they're still cursing. Get the off. I'll beat your head in. All that kind of shit. And you got the family sitting to my left. I'll never forget, because I'm doing Jerry Lewis since I'm, 7 years old. So I'll tell you what my mother said afterward. Anyway, all of a sudden the music starts playing, the intro music, which was Disco Inferno. With this intro, somebody new, somebody exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Clay. And I turn around, now I'm Travolta with the hair slick, the pants is down. The place went crazy.
Club Soda Kenny, everybody. And believe it or not, but believe it, Stefan asked for another video. Stefan wants me to wish everybody a Happy New Year. So, to all the people watching this entertaining video, podcast, broadcast, I wish you a very happy, healthy, and prosperous New Year. Happy New Year. Happy now, Stefan?